what you were getting. He had his peaks, he had his lows, but overall, like, he kind of provided you what he is, which
I think we know what José Caballero is as a player. I don't see the potential being that much more or a big jumping off point. It's what you've seen from his numbers in 2024, 2023. That's probably what you're going to get.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulysses Zambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Alongo's Game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 6th season covering the Rays daily.
In every season up till 2024, they've gone to the playoffs, but you can still grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase.
All right, it is player review time, and on today's docket, we have José Caballero, first-time Ray this past season. And as we do with the player reviews, we discuss what went right, what went wrong, the future of the team, and then we get our run pit out and give an ultimate letter or grade. So, Ulysses, what went right with José Caballero?
Okay, well, let's get it out of the way first. The man knows how to steal bags, a lot of bags. Okay, there's a second portion to that statement, which we're going to hold on to until the second segment. But he was the stolen base champ. It's a pretty good achievement to be the number one guy in the league like that, and you could see it coming from the get-go, from very early in the season, that you're like, oh, this guy can really go. So I think that's number one for him. What went right is he was able to at least show that component of his game very early on throughout the season.
Right. No, I'm with you there, and made a little history as he became the second Rays player to lead the American League in stolen bases. Carl Crawford, of course, did it not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. Have a little quote on Caballero because he really wanted to get to the big 5-0. He said in an interview a couple months ago, quote, "The goal I put to myself at the beginning of the season was that I wanted to reach 50. I was kind of short on that. If I'm the American League leader in stolen bases, it would be a gift, but it'd be a little sad about myself because I couldn't reach 50. So maybe he can do that in 2025. What I also want to wax poetic about Caballero was his availability. I think with all the injuries that the Rays have suffered and experienced over the years, the fact that he stood up, played 139 games across 3 positions, shortstop, third base, second base, is meaningful. And second on the team in doubles, believe it or not, behind Yandy Diaz. If you look at his spray charts, his power is to the pull side, doubles down the line, couple home runs over the fence, but he also has the ability to work an inside-out swing and get the ball up the middle and the other way as well. And I think we saw it pretty much from day one with him. He seems to have a chip on his shoulder, and him being at 5'9", 180 pounds, he doesn't back down from anybody, as we saw early in the season against Genesis Cabrera, if we recall on that. But he's just a competitor and a gamer, and a guy who brings some spice and energy to the team that is needed.
Yeah, and not only he's not afraid to stand up to guys like Garrett Cole and Cabrera, like you said, but also to his own teammate in Yandy Diaz. He's not afraid. to say, hey, that's wrong. Hey, and get into the mind of his competitors. I feel like that is something that had been missing from the Rays a little bit. That kind of energy of, I'm going to try to get you out of your mental space. Like, for example, if you're a pitcher, that kind of mind game, I think, hadn't been seen for a while by the Rays. So it's nice to add that from Caballero style. But I gotta say, I think one of the most impressive things is that chip on his shoulder, is the fact that he's always out there grinding. If he were out of baseball, I don't think he could sit on his hands. Like, this is a guy that needs to be doing something. Like, he needs he has too much energy to just chill. Right. He's not a Zen guy. I think he's go, go, go. And I know that the Rays had a tough time, to put it mildly, offensively. He was never a guy that you were completely disappointed by. Like, you knew what you were getting. He had his peaks, he had his lows, but overall, like, he kind of provided you what he is, which you'll take from any player. Like, just give me who you are. Don't underperform. And there were so many guys that underperformed that he was actually kind of a bright spot.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know whether to put it in the what went right or what went wrong category, but I think we know what José Caballero is as a player. I don't see the potential being that much more or a big jumping off point. It's what you've seen from his numbers in 2024, 2023. That's probably what you're going to get. Right. And you have to extrapolate it or spread it across 162, depending on how many games he plays. And we'll get to those numbers later on. But I'm glad you mentioned all that. And I'll also note, fielding wise, for what it's worth, he got high marks in the outs above average category in the fielding run value on Baseball Savant, 92nd percentile and outs above average with 7. I don't know if some of that has to do with the fact that he covered ground and made some diving stops and playing multiple positions, but that is a feather in his cap, so to speak. So,
yeah, no. And also the sprint speed in the 75th percentile, obviously with the stolen bases, but it's nice that he can show that speed not only when there's no ball in play, but also if you need to go first to third, first to home, second to home. Like, it's nice to also have that guy in the middle of the lineup or at the back end of the lineup. Let's not forget, the Rays had such an issue with offensive production. Caballero hit at the top of the lineup many times.
Yes, he did. And I'll actually get to that, because he, to me, not to go too far down the rabbit hole, but if he could shore up a couple numbers here and there offensively, he would be the traditional number 2 guy, or maybe with the stolen bases, number 1 guy, but we'll get to that in a moment. So there's the good with José Caballero. We'll also get to what went wrong with José Caballero. But first, we have to tell the audience a couple very important things, like Robinhood, for example. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the elite 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for just $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. So good, I'll repeat it again. Robinhood.com/gold. Should also note this: terms apply. For product specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
For most of us that like collecting cards, the idea of spending $1,000, $2,000 might be a little bit too much. It's just not going to happen. But thanks to slap packs from arenaclub.com, now it is possible to score gem mints for a fraction of the retail price. Arena Club is the only repack that provides real value, a complete view of all possible cards, and a clear hit rates for each one. They are revolutionizing the repack game with transparency. And right now you can get 10% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/lockedonmlb and use code LOCKEDONMLB. Again, go to arenaclub.com/lockedonmlb with the code LOCKEDONMLB for 10% off your first purchase.
All right, getting to what went wrong with José Caballero, and we do like to use the Savant page quite a bit in the player reviews and otherwise, and we should note that the value batting wise was in the toilet, so to speak, just based on if you go to that website there. A lot of blue, a lot of dark blue, and that means not so good things for that specific category. So as far as that is concerned, he did not really light the world on fire in that respect. And like I kind of alluded to in the what went right category, with José Caballero, what you see is what you're going to get as far as the numbers. He's going to be a 225, 230 hitter. He's going to be a 630, 660 OPS guy. He'll give you between half a dozen to 10 home runs, and that's about what you're going to get. Out of that, with the limited pop, we know he gets a good share of doubles. You would like that strikeout rate to be lower than it is. You would like that walk rate to be higher than it is. And maybe that's something that he can work on going forward, and maybe not being so aggressive and trying to find unique ways to get on base. And if he was able to harness that, hey, give me a 6% lower strikeout rate,
right,
you would have your traditional Ray Durham type, if that makes sense. But I just wanted to throw that out there. And I know you're going to get to the stolen base caught stealing dilemma with Caballero. And maybe it's not that fair for me to mention this, but I'm just comparing him to the guy that he was traded with in the Mariners, Luke Raley. Yeah. And we talk about this team needing offense, needing pop. Luke Raley did that and more for Seattle this past season. In 404 at-bats, he hit 22 dingers with a 783 OPS. He also had 11 stolen bases. For a big guy, he was able to move quite a bit. So that would have been your, left-handed power bat that you would need if he was still on the Rays. And in order for the Rays the Rays needed José Caballero because of what Wander Franco did. If Wander Franco didn't do, or what he allegedly did, if Wander Franco didn't get into the situation or mess that he's in right now, there is no way, in my opinion, that the Rays would have gone out and gotten José Caballero, because we already have Taylor Walls.
There is it's Caballero is in the Rays system because of what is going on with Wander Franco, and Luke Raley is not longer a Ray because of that. And when you say, 22 home runs, 11 stolen bases, and a 783 OPS from the left side, boy, I think we could have used that very, very much. And
he would have been the team leader in homers, wouldn't he have? Because Brandon Lau got 21.
Because Brandon Lau got 21. He would have been number one, and also just provided some thump that it was sorely needed. Johnny DeLuca might not have seen so much playing time if you have a guy like Luke Raley out there. So he would have changed the scope, but this is not a Luke Raley segment. It is a José Caballero segment. So
I'm not having buyer's remorse. I just wanted to mention that.
No, I think it's great, but I'm going to get into the abyss, so I'm getting the hell out of it right now. Let's talk about like you said, the stolen base percentage. The caught stealing, not great. His stolen base percentage was 73%. It's could it improve? Yes. Could it be worse? Yes. But with that amount, I think there must be a little bit of improvement to see in in 2025 to see if we can gauge when to go. What kind of opportunities are there to take and not just go because you're looking. I mean, you did say it on the quote. He said, I'd be a little sad about myself because I couldn't reach 50. Right. I know all players have these numbers in their heads of like what they'd like to do before the season starts. And that's completely normal. But we saw it with Randy Arozarena and the 2020 chase for 3 years in a row. Don't worry about that too much. Pick the right moment rather than I need to get another one. And I think that comes with maturity. I think this is only his second year in the league, first full season. So I really hope that we see a little bit more progression on timely picking the right spot of when to go.
I think that's fair. Devil's advocate, and I'd have to look a little bit harder at, and maybe they can consult the Rays with this, but how much of him trying to get to 50 or trying to get a bag is selfishness versus, hey, we got to try to make something happen because we're not lighting the world on fire offensively. So if I can do anything to get the second, to get the third, to disrupt the pitcher and the defense, because not much else is working. We're not doing a very good job of hitting homers or manufacturing runs. Maybe I can get to third and somebody can get a rare sacrifice fly. So maybe there's a little bit of back and forth with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you see that everybody else is struggling to just put the ball in play and you're like, all right, so after me, it's Johnny DeLuca, it's Taylor Walls, and then it's Alex Jackson. If I don't get to second, if I don't get to third and maybe scoring a wild pitch or a balk, we're not scoring.
I try to steal second. Maybe the ball goes past the shortstop or second baseman, and then I can wind up at third because I'm sure that's happened a time or two.
Sure.
So, all right, there we go. What went wrong with José Caballero? We'll now get to his future with the team. But first, we have to tell the audience something very important.
Yeah, that's right. And that's Game Time. We've told you about Game Time for a long, long time. So you know that it is the best place to get tickets. Why? Well, there's a plethora of reasons why. They've got priority Game Time picks. Means that the curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever you're looking for. Also, there's an all-in pricing. You can toggle this feature to show the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. I really wish that RaysBaseball.com did that, but Game Time does it. And my favorite, seat views. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so you can really get to experience ahead of time what you will be going to. So today, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Kevin, real quick, what time is it?
Game time.
That's right.
All right. We also want to tell you about FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel. That is America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place those bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet, like I mentioned above. That is at FanDuel.com. So good. I'll repeat it one more time. $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel. They are an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, continuing on the José Caballero player review. His future with the team. I should note that he will be arbitration eligible in 2026, and he hits free agency in 2030. Ulysses, we're talking about 2025, though. Will he be rostered and on the Rays next season?
He's the utility guy of the team. Like you said earlier, played second base, played third base, played shortstop. I'm pretty sure if in a pinch you ask him to be a first baseman or a damn emergency catcher, José Caballero would be the guy. I think we have talked about that. Like, who would be the emergency catcher? It's Caballero.
It probably is. Yeah,
it's him. He would be putting that mask on and be like, "Let's go, get me in there."
He has enough gumption to put the tools of ignorance on, I think. So
yeah, he'd be dying to get in there. So no, he will be with the team at least a couple more years. I know you said arbitration, what, 2026, 2027?
2026 for him.
Okay, well, look at that. So you've got him for cheap for the next couple years. I think there's no doubt that he can be the utility guy that Taylor Walls has been for the last 4 years, except that he hits more than Taylor Walls. The defense might not be to the Rays' liking to the Taylor Walls standard, but all I'm asking is, what is that difference in overall value? What are you really gaining from Taylor Walls' defense and lack of offensive production? And what are you gaining from the offensive production from Caballero and maybe the defensive miscues, which, by the way, shouldn't be that much. I mean, I know the eye test doesn't say much, but the outs above average have him graded very nicely. So we'll see. But I do think that he's going to be with this team for a couple of years.
I mean, if Taylor Walls could put up the offensive numbers of José Caballero, he'd be beloved. We'd probably be talking contract extension, just based on what he does defensively and the overall value there. But as far as Caballero goes, do you see him? And as far as the breakdowns of games played last year, well, actually, I might have it wrong here, but my question is, does he get more starts at short than any other Rays player in 2025? And it's throwing out the thought of Taylor Walls, the thought of maybe the Rays trading or acquiring a beefier shortstop, or maybe Carson Williams does crazy things in spring training and is ready to go, or the Rays are just like, hey, learn by doing, get out there, get the reps. We're tanking on 2025.
I think so. I think he's going to be leading the Rays in shortstop games played. Now, that's kind of me hoping that we are walking away from Taylor Walls.
Okay.
If by spring training, opening day, Taylor Walls is still with the team, he's still healthy, then I think we would see more Taylor Walls at short than Caballero. But I'm going to just put that out in the ether because this team did not lose because of defense. This team lost because it had no offense.
Right.
So let's try to remedy that by adding offense and not stick with people who are not putting up offensive numbers after multiple years in the league.
Yeah, it's really crazy, the state that we're at right now. All right, it is time to give a grade to José Caballero. I should note that his baseball reference WAR was 1.6 this past season. So with that and everything that we mentioned, Ulysses, what are you giving José Caballero?
I think he performed just like what he was advertised as.
Right.
Which, if you put that student in a classroom and you want him to succeed, he's not going to be great. He's not going to be worse. He's just going to be right there. I think Caballero deserves an 83.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. 83 is just a low B. It's not a B minus, correct?
83 is a B. No minus, I think.
I'll give him a point more. I'll give him an 84 based on what was mentioned previously. I'm just hoping and praying that if he gets as much playing time in 2025 as he did in 2024, because that's also going to be a question, is how will his role maybe evolve or change if the Rays have some of these prospects that are ready to come in and make an impact. Is he more of a 80 to 90 game guy, or is he going to be a 130 to 140 game guy? I think that's a consideration that has to be factored in. But I want some more walks from you. And I want some fewer strikeouts from you. Because it's interesting. Just last note here. When he was with Seattle in 2023, he had one more walk in 200 fewer plate appearances. So something happened with the walk rate just tanking.
No, I mean, I'll take your theory from the second segment here, which is if you see that no one in your lineup is doing anything, you might get a little bit more greedy at the plate and go for daddy hacks because like nobody's doing anything. So you know what? I'm having an okay season. All right, well, I'm gonna start going for the fences, and then you start to whiff a little bit more, and you start to chase a little bit more, and that's why his StatCast looks bluer than the state of California.
No, I think there is something to be said for that. If the Rays were fully healthy and capable, and they had players that they were supposed to have on the roster, and it was a situation where, hey, I've got X, Y, and Z behind me. And really all my only goal or objective here, get a single, get on base. I don't need to be a hero, where he was probably put in a situation where it's like nothing else going on. Be a hero if you can.
Right.
So,
exactly.
All right, there we go. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.